Hey, what's up, youth leaders? It is a beautiful day. It does not feel like it's November. I'm in a long sleeve, actually, I was wearing a sweater, long sleeve shirt, and pants, and I am definitely warm out here. So, looking forward to an outdoor worship service. Most likely will be our last one, and we'll be worshiping middle school and high school together, kind of reverting back to the old schedule before COVID, with worship starting around 6:40. And then the lesson to follow after that. And the reason why we're making that move is to give our high school students an extra week to kind of adapt to that change, as we were starting later with them. And we're going to be moving indoors, most likely starting next week, because that's looking to be 32 degrees. And we'll be all indoors together for worship and teaching in the sanctuary. The sanctuary right now is rated at 125 people that could socially distance safely in that space. Additionally, we are installing two large air filtration systems that should help with the airflow in that room. That should be ready to go this Sunday, and for sure ready by next Wednesday. So in preparation for that move, we're starting that new schedule tonight. So I'm excited to hear Matt preach in Habakkuk. Excited to have outdoor worship in this beautiful weather. And then I want to talk to you about two things. One is a reminder, when you guys finish the night with your folders and your small group questions, if you guys could leave that at the info desk in the lobby. The info desk in the lobby, there is a mail slot. If you stand behind the info desk, on the top left side, you can slip it in there. If you can't fit it in there, then just leave it on top of that desk. That's easier for Kathy to collect those and then update that into our computer system. So please leave your folders by the info desk in the lobby. The second thing I'll talk to you about is small group. Small group and maybe helping you define the win for small group. I remember one of my predecessors, Pastor Darren, had this saying that stuck with me ever since, and it was embrace the awkward silence. As I was teaching Sunday school, leading small group, he was kind of helping me with that when I was a volunteer, and he said, embrace the awkward silence. And what he meant by that was, hey, when you ask a question and you're not getting immediate response, or the kids are just kind of slow to engage, he goes, it's okay to be awkwardly silent, to let that tension sit there a little bit, because our tendencies is to kind of fill the silence with our own answers or our own perspectives, and that's not wrong, but sometimes it takes the kids a little bit longer to warm up and to share their thoughts. And not only that, then if that's our pattern, it's easy to get in that rut, and week to week kids know that they stay silent long enough, then they won't share. And so embrace the awkward silence. I would say a way to define the win for small group, or a win for small group, is to let the kids speak, let the kids share. Maybe reframe your question. If you're asking a question and it could be said more simply, more concisely, more clearly, think about paraphrasing it in a way. Maybe the question is, the kids don't understand it, so you restate it in a way that it's kind of like going from the King James Version to the ESV, to the New Living Translation. If you can change the translation, maybe it's easier for kids to kind of grasp what you're asking for. Secondly, I would say, in create an environment where it's you're creating the desire and a place where they can share. So an example would be, if your kids are on your phone, I would encourage you guys to have a no phone policy during small group. And if they say, hey, my mom's texting me or calling me or something like that, and say, you know what, we're going to ask you for the small group time not to respond, or let your mom know that you'll get back to her or your dad afterwards. And I would say, I've even had small groups who say, hey, first one to pick up their phone is bringing snacks next week. I've even had a middle school guy leader one time, or actually several times, who'd bring in candy. And when we came to our small group questions, anytime someone participated, he tossed them a Snicker. And that created actually a lot of interaction with the boys. And if we didn't bring the candy, or if he didn't bring the candy, they were a little bummed out. You may say that's bribery. I think that's a creative way of engaging our kids where they're at. So, and sometimes in that group as well, if the kids were kind of had a lot of energy, we would do some physical activities to get them kind of loosened up, or have fun with your warm-up questions, your icebreakers, or your highs and lows. and create an environment that's kind of less tense, or just more fun and carefree, and then also embrace the awkward silence when asking a question. Don't be scared to let that question sit there. I even had leaders. I've had students lead in lifeguards, and occasionally when I saw them lead, they would even call on their peers. It's okay to call on a kid as well, especially if it's one of your leaders in your group, an upperclassman, or somebody who's more mature, or who's more inclined to share. It's okay to even now and again to call on your leaders or your students, or maybe on the way to group, ask your kids, hey, would you mind if I ever called on you during a question? I'm not trying to put in the spot, but would you be okay if I called on you every now and again? And see what they'd say, because if they give you permission, maybe that's an in towards allowing them to speak more. So, win for you, a win for small group. Allow the kids the time to share, embrace the awkward silence, so that they can have a chance to share what's on their heart or ask the questions that's on their minds. So, we'll see you guys tonight. Thanks again for your time.